Hi students, in this lecture we will study about the simple boundary value testing. First of all, we will see that what is boundary value analysis. Actually the boundary value analysis means that boundary value analysis says that all the values of variables should be tested on their boundaries. For example, if we have a variable like marks, if we have variable marks we have variable marks. Now what kind of values can be stored in marks? If we see marks, then marks are normally from 0 to 100, so we can say that the range of marks is from 0 to 100. It means that when we input values in the marks variable, then they can be from 0 to 100. Now we want to test that all the values of the variables are working right or not. For this purpose we will need to build the test cases that will define that the values will be correctly entered or not, or we can say that values should be correctly managed by our software or not. So simple boundary value analysis, we are seeing about the simple boundary value analysis. Simple boundary value analysis. Why we called it boundary value analysis? We called it boundary value analysis because this technique says that the errors are mostly occurred on the boundaries. So this technique says that the boundaries of the variable should be checked before implementing software. Further, this technique shows that we will need to find the 5 values, and we will need to test these 5 values. For example, if we talk about marks whose value is from 0 to 100, we will need to get 5 things. What are these 5 things? These 5 things are minimum value. If we see here, then the minimum value is 0, and then minimum plus. It means that minimum value is 0 and minimum plus means that it should be incremented by 1. Minimum is 0, then min plus should be 1. Then we need to find nominal value. Nominal value is the most typical value in between the range. Here I put blank the nominal. I will tell you later that what is the nominal value here. Then we need to find the max value. If we see here, then the range of marks is from 0 to 100. It means that the maximum value of marks is 100. So we can put 100 in the marks, and we need to gain the max minus. What means by max minus? Max minus means value of max is decremented by 1. Here the max value of marks is 100, then max minus should be 99. Now what about the nominal value? Nominal value is the most typical value in the data. For example, here if we see from 0 to 100, then 50 is the most typical value, so we put 50 in the nominal value. It can be 51, it can be 52, it can be 49, but normally we take the nominal value which is not within the boundaries. Nominal value is a value which is most typical and far away from the boundaries. For example, here boundary are 0, here boundary values are 0, 1, 100 and 99, and if we see the nominal value 50, it is very much far away from the boundary values. Okay, now what is the core theory about the simple boundary value testing? If there is a range of marks between 0 to 100, it means that we should check these values 101 times. we should need to check these values 101 times. First of all, we will need to check about 0, that it will be entered correct or not. Then we will need to check the 1, that it will be correctly entered or not. Then we will need to test that 2 will be correctly entered or not. Then we will need to test that 3 is correctly entered or not, and similarly so on. Then at the end we will need to test that the 100 is correctly entered or not. But if we see, then this is a very exhaustive process. This is very exhausting process that for only one variable we will need to define the test cases, and 101 test cases. It is not good. We have not so much time to test the one variable, that one variable we test the one variable 101 times. So for this problem we will create a theory about simple boundary value analysis, and the simple boundary value analysis says that there is no need to test all the values of a variable, but if you test these values only from the boundaries, like if we test the minimum value, if we check the min plus value, if we check the nominal value, if we test the max value, and if we test the max minus value, then it will be enough for us to test the marks variable value. So if we implement simple boundary value analysis on this variable marks, there should be 101 values, but we will test only 5 times. One test by putting the value 0, one test by putting the value 1, one test by putting the value 50, one test by putting the value 99, and one test by putting the value 100. It means our total test cases in this example are 5. Our total test cases like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Our total test cases in this example are 5. Our total test cases are 5. If we implement the testing like boundary value analysis, then we have 5 test cases from this single variable, which is marks. But if we not implement the boundary value analysis and test this variable marks, then we will need to define the 101 test cases. But for this problem we will create a solution which is called simple boundary value analysis, which says that variable should be tested from min plus, nominal, max minus and max.